Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be comparing the GT Neo 3 and the GT2, both smartphones released from Realme. And there's been a lot of requests for me to compare these two, so I thought I'd do that just for you guys. This one, the GT2, has the Snapdragon 888 and the GT Neo 3 has the Dimensity 8100. This one is slightly dearer, the GT2. This is launched globally. This is only launched in China at the moment. Now, in terms of build quality and size, they look very much identical in terms of size and sort of thickness. The backs are different. I do prefer the GT2. It's got this nice sort of paper back that they did sort of market that way when they did release the GT2. Here we have a glass back, smooth sort of finish, more slippery in the hand for this one. The GT2, there's more of a sort of a grip to it as well. A similar sort of weight. And then displays, both 120Hz display, AMOLED, they're both 1080p as well. So they're neck and neck in that respect. Type-C, dual speakers, no headphone socket, although the only difference at the top on here, we have a grill there for speakers on the GT Neo 3, whereas the GT2 doesn't have a cutout for that. So when you play an audio back on this, you're having audio at the top blaring out and from the earpiece as well. Could suit some people, might not. So yeah, that, in terms of build quality, there's not much between it at all. One big talking point is obviously the performance speed. Snapdragon 888 and the Dimensity 8100. When using this Dimensity 8100 for my gaming review that I did, people were talking about how this is not fully optimized yet. Some of the game developers have not properly developed the games for full optimization. And I was using PUBG on both. I've compared PUBG, and on the GT2, you can go up to extreme frame rates, and that's obviously with the Snapdragon 888. Whereas on the GT Neo 3, you only get, I think it was about high frame rates. So if I talk about it now, while I've got these both in my hands, this offers the best in terms of performance and gaming. Yes, this is obviously released now. It's only available in China officially, but this does have an English language on it. It is available to buy. I have bought it. It's in the UK. I'm using it as if it is a UK sort of phone. I've got 4G, I've had 5G working on here as well. So it's working absolutely fine in that respect. So the GT2 comes out on top. But if you look at these Geekbench results, so close. The GT Neo 3 had a single core of 968 compared to the 1138 on the GT2. But look at that the multi-core score on the GT Neo 3. That is really good. Beats the GT2 with the Snapdragon 888. So there is performance there with this Dimensity 8100, no doubt about it. It's a powerful chip. Then we look at the compute tests. So this is really testing sort of the graphical chips within both the smartphones. 4564 on the GT Neo 3 and 4726 on the GT2 with the Snapdragon 888. So the Snapdragon 888 is just slightly more powerful in terms of the graphical processing compared to the GT Neo 3, but there's not much between them whatsoever. Now, I want to jump over to a throttling test. I did a throttling test. It's just going to run through really, really quick, and then I'll say my bit after that. Okay, so the 15 minutes is up, and before they have the chance to cool down, let's just quickly fire this over the top. 40, 40, 41. Yeah, it's a similar heat by the looks of it, guys. Yeah, similar heat. But if we look at the performance here, very surprised to see the Snapdragon 888 holding quite a consistent sort of reading throughout. The Dimensity 8100 did throttle quite a bit there, but to be fair to the Dimensity, the max performance, I did notice it was smashing out quite a lot of GIPs, 362,000 GIPs at its maximum, whereas the Snapdragon 888 only reached 249,000. So the 8100 was definitely kicking out more power, but that did result in more throttling. Couldn't get my words out. That did result in more throttling. Average performance got 342,000 compared to 243,000. I mean, there's no doubting that this Dimensity 8100 is a powerful chip. It really is. People say, oh, it's not fully optimized yet. But if there's a phone out there released to the public and they can buy it, why isn't? I mean, anyone could do this test, no matter what country you're in. Download a CPU throttling test in China, and you should get similar results that I've got here. You know, they need to. If they're going to optimize it, they need to optimize it before it's approved and released, because you're going to get people like me and other people testing it, and it looks poor. So, I don't know. But yeah, that is that. Yeah, so the Snapdragon 888 held a nice, consistent sort of performance throughout that throttling test, really. Throttled a couple of times. The Dimensity 8100 obviously was absolutely gunning for it, absolutely smashing it in terms of performance, but then obviously it did, it did throttle quite a lot. So, yeah, no doubt about it, the Dimensity 8100 is a super powerful chip. All these, whatever it is, the tech is, or anything, they really fine-tune that, then we're going to get some fantastic performance smartphones in the near future. This is obviously a newly released chip. It was released in March, I believe, the Dimensity 8100. So a few more tweaking and stuff, but at the moment, it still needs a lot of work. Now, camera department. These both have the same 50 megapixel main sensor on both of these, and to be fair, on my little camera comparison I did today, there's not much between them. I mean, in terms of quality, it was so hard to pick. It's obviously there might be little bits of color difference, so the preference to what colors you like. The big thing for me is this has 4K 60 with stabilization. It has 4K 30 with stabilization, whereas the GT Neo 3 doesn't, and you tell that straight away. So that is one plus thing. One plus? That's one plus. And another thing that sways it back into the GT Neo 3, I think the microphones are better on this than they are on the GT2. Have a look at this. 4K 60 inside on both. There's definitely stabilization on the GT2. There's none on the GT Neo 3. But when you're looking at it on the display, it doesn't look that unstable until I go and put it on the computer and start playing it back, or play it back in normal. So for a start, straight away, the GT2 wins because of stabilization. So I did the same walk yesterday, 4K 60, you can see the stabilization on the GT2, it's definitely there. So that is going to be a deal breaker. I think every phone should have stabilization on all resolutions nowadays, doesn't matter what the price of the phone. Both shoot ultra wide, but both are in 1080p 30 frames per second, so exactly the same. On this angle here though, I think the GT Neo 3's got a wider angle slightly. sure. But the stabilisation here as well. There is stabilisation. So these are going to be pretty much identical. So front facing video, they both shoot at 1080p 30. There's no 4K selfie. In terms of dynamic range, it's hard to say at the moment on here. Maybe the GT Neo 3's handling it a little bit better. Right. That's the point of this video. You can make your own mind up about this as well. I think the GT Neo 3 is looking more stable, isn't it? But then it tricks you until I start playing it back on the PC. But here's the footage for you to look at anyway. So here we go, bog standard 1080p 60 on both. Which is doing it better? I mean, they look very much identical. Is the one more stable than the other? It's difficult to say from here. I hope you can hear me both on both of them as well. Again, windy. So that's 1080p 60, guys. To take a picture of both of these with the lights completely off in a minute. You can see which does it better in terms of exposing. But this is what it'll be like. Pitch black. Let's have a look. So which one do you prefer? Obviously I love the fact that there's stabilisation throughout on this. Stabilisation to me personally is really important on a camera on a smartphone, and this does that. That is obviously lacking, but this is cheaper, so you've got to weigh it up. You guys wanted me to do this test between these two. Which one do you actually prefer at the end of it? This is launched globally. I believe this one is the more polished and finished article than say this. But then obviously you're paying a bit more for this anyway. It's got the Snapdragon 888. Performance gaming wise is good. You get all the extreme frame rate settings as well. Stabilization in 4K. But this 4,500 milliamp battery. In terms of battery, this is actually, let's have a look at this now. I've still got 57% on this, and I go to bed in say what is it? 5 hours, roughly, something like that, about 11 o'clock. So I'm guessing we're going to get another 7-8 hour day on this. This one, I haven't actually used this for a while. I'd probably, they're about similar to be fair. Maybe this one a little bit less so. I think the battery optimization on the 8100 is better. But this has got the 150 watt super fast charger. 15 minutes 0 to 100 is absolutely insane. So that's another great selling point for the Neo 3. If you like that sort of thing. Yeah, so that was it. I just chucked a quick comparison, comparing these two. Let me know in the comments down below which one you prefer out of the two. It's so close in so many sort of areas. But yeah, I really hope this video has been helpful. If you're on Twitter, make sure you go and follow me on Twitter. I'm active pretty much every day. I'm posting behind the scenes stuff. I'll post samples of like pictures from certain phones and stuff like that. So make sure you head over to Twitter as well to follow me. I'll include links to all these in the description as well if you want to go and check them out. But thank you all very much for watching. Please subscribe if you've enjoyed the content. Has it been good? Subscribe would be fantastic. Smash the like button, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.